Hello and welcome to my channel Pick Up Gems. So today I decided to make a little different type of video. I was actually feeling inspired to make tallow, a beef tallow. So I like to always like to put something natural on my face. So I always have a beautiful skin and I like to use natural products. So when I heard about tallow, I thought I will try it. So first of all, I took ready-made tallow. And I was looking for halal tallow. So I bought from Etsy, and it lasted me not very long because I just tried one box. So I decided to make my own tallow. So and first I am using this tallow from December 2024. Now it is September, so about 8 months I am using, my children are using, and actually I can use this moisturizer, this balm I prepare, or moisturizing cream you can call, tallow balm you can call. So I use it before even foundation and it's really good. So I added, not this is not only a tallow I made, I added lots of and natural oils, essential oils, and lots of vitamins and healthy organic stuff, which I will mention. So this is a tallow I made, and it has no smell at all. It's odorless, or I will say is a 99% no smell of beef at all. So I learned from YouTube, someone, and but I've forgotten who I learned from, but I learned how to make odorless tallow. So I am doing the way I learned, but I did a little change of method. I'm making a mixing of dry method and wet method. So our tallow will be totally odorless. And this is on a room temperature. I just prepared this over this weekend, and you can see it's pretty soft and easily come out. And this is a room temperature, and in UK it is about 22-23 degree temperature at the moment. It's pretty good temperature, and it has nice lavender oil I added, and lots of other essential oils I will mention if you bear with me. First of all, I will share with you how to make tallow, and then in the second part of this video I will show you what ingredients, what nutrients and other organic essential oils I added to finish up my tallow. So I make these small containers, and I keep it in my kitchen as well. So after washing, I use it, and I use on my face, on my hand, on my arms, and it's really good, and it's suitable for all sort of skins, because after finishing this tallow, I added the coconut oil, mango butter, and bee wax, and lots of things I will share. So let's dive into our video. From my local butcher, I got 500 grams of fat, beef fat. So I requested them, and they can only find 500 grams. So I am happy to use it. So these are, I'm using halal meat fat, halal beef fat. So if you do not use halal meat, so you can use any sort of meat. You can ask your local butcher to give you some extra fat, beef fat. And now I'm adding salt. You can guess like 2-3 spoons of salt. Basically we add salt to release all the impurities, and I added up a lot of water. So I'm using my saucepan, and I filled up with the water. Now I am going to keep it on a really slow heat. First of all, I keep it on a high heat, so water is started boiling, and then I reduce the heat, and I leave it for I will say for this one I did 4.5 hours, and I will show you within after an hour then how this fat is reducing. So this is I'm making in my own way. You can find there are many different ways on YouTube channel, but this is like after 1 hour, this is fat is started shrinking, and you can see this is how it looks like. And this is after 2 hours of cooking. So you can see the this fat is started rendering, is coming out, and water is reducing because water keep evaporating, and oil is keep coming up. Now this is like after 3 hours, 3.5 hours gone, and this fat, the lots of fat is coming out, and I keep mixing in between. So this process is continue, and I just making sure that there is a lot of fat coming out. Now this is after 4 hours, and you can see there's a fat you can see start coming up, and then it's getting nearly ready to be stained. Now this is after 4 hours, and you can see all the oil coming out of this fat pieces we started with. So when fat comes out and water evaporate, because all the salt it evaporated as well, because oil can only mix with the oil, it doesn't mix with the water. And now I'm taking a cheesecloth, and I will start staining it, and I'm using my sieve and cheesecloth and start draining, and I will be using my spoon to squeeze out all the fat as possible. Because it took a long time to prepare, so make sure you squeeze out all the fat. And I realized that after doing this process, because that's amount of fat I got from my local butcher, and if you have like you're spending the same amount of time, is better when you make a little more. So that's why I got 500 grams, and in 500 grams I realized that I got 300 milliliters of fat of the tallow. After squeezing properly, I got 300 mils from 500 grams of actual beef fat. And this is about 320 mils of fat. So this is a first step, and in the next step we're gonna cook it again to purify it, so it will be a little less. So our end product was 300 mils. So this tallow, all the fat that came out of this fat chipping we have. So now I am going to add this tallow into any container, glass container or any container you have, and then I will keep it in a in a refrigerator until it totally cool down. So if there is any water, it will be separated from original fat. So I'm gonna keep it in my refrigerator for about 1 hour, 1.5 hours. So I will show you how it looks like. So now after 1 hour, this is how it looks like, and this is some impurities at the base, but I realized that there is no water separated. So it means because I cook for about 4.5 hours, all the water was evaporated, and I cannot see any separated water after first step. So I'm trying to remove it, but it's not coming up because it was no water. If there is water, it can easily come up. Now I chop these pieces, and when I took one piece out, so I can see some amount of water, and I'm removing a water and some impurities. So I'm clearing it on this tissue paper, and then I'm putting it back in a pan. So we will be doing a step number 2. In the first step, we added a salt, and we give 3-4 hours. So for the second step, it will be easy. We will be just putting it back for cooking and adding a salt for about an hour. So in this way, our beef will be more whiter and odorless, with less smell of beef, and less even. But I found that in this process, because in the first step I took 4.5 hours I gave, and almost all the water has been evaporated. So I'm placing all these pieces, tallow pieces, back in the pan. I will be adding more water and same amount of salt for more purifying, so our tallow become odorless. So now I placed it back on heat and it's cooking slowly, and I left it for 1 hour. So after 1 hour, we will be doing the same process again. We will be draining this to reduce any extra water. This time I added more water, so I can show you like how much water left after the fat. So because tallow is already quite clean, this tallow I prepared, so you can see any impurities. I added more salt. So in the second step, you will see this is a wet method. The previous one, first step, was dry because I evaporated whole water and all the fat squeezed out in a first step. But this one is a wet method because I added more water and I cooked, and then it's purifying. And I will be doing the same step. So after draining all the fat, I will be placing it back in a refrigerator, and then we will be separating it out, and our tallow will be ready. Now after keeping it in refrigerator, I took it out. As you can see, there is some water left in our container, and I'm reducing all the water, excessive water and any impurities. But these are, the water is pretty clean. So I'm putting on a tissue paper, so any water, any remnants, they can dry out. So we have pure tallow, pure fat, beef fat we will have. And you can see is more whiter in color as well, and I will say is a 99% odorless. And when I added lots of essential oils and coconut oil, beeswax, I will show you in a part 2. When I added, then you cannot smell any beef at all. So I'm just breaking it again, and I will be placing it in a water bath to melt it down, so I can add different ingredient in it, or I can keep it in a jar. It's up to you. Like after this stage, when our tallow is ready, you can use it without adding any essential oils. You just save it in a jar and use it. Now this is how now I'm placing in a water bath. In a pan, I added some water on a slow heat. So I'm just warming it up. All the tallow has melted, and at this stage, as I mentioned, is ready to use. So you can place it in a jar, leave it in a room temperature, and if you want to keep it a little longer, you put it in a fridge and use it within few months. So this is ready to use at the moment. If you like, you can keep it in jars, glass jars. But I am going to make a balm out of this tallow, and in the part 2 I will show you all these essential oils I'm going to add. If you are interested, watch part 2 of this video. And hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, sharing, liking and subscribing my channel, and see you all in part 2 of this video.